A very warm welcome to everyone joining this video. We are going to study the poem The Heart of the Tree, composed by Henry Kyler Bunner. The poem is about the beauty of planting a tree or the satisfaction derived from this practice. In this poem, the poet beautifully describes the actual essence of what a person plants when he plants a tree. Bunner appreciates trees not only for their aesthetic value but also for their role in human welfare. For him, a tree proves to be a friend of the sun and the sky and contributes positively for the growth of a nation. Although written over a century ago, the poem is very relevant in the present age of rapid and reckless development and urbanization. Now, we will read each stanza thoroughly and then understand its meaning. Let us start now. What does he plant who plants a tree? He plants a friend of sun and sky. He plants a flag of breezes free, the shaft of beauty towering high. He plants a home to heaven and I, for song and mother croon of bird in hushed and happy twilight heard, the treble of heaven's harmony. These things he plants who plants a tree. Here we can see that the stanza of the poem starts with a question: what does he plant who plants a tree? This brings before us the spirit of the whole poem. The rest of the lines are the poet's answer to the question and the significance and value of planting a tree. The poet says, he plants a friend of sun and sky. Here the tree has been portrayed as a friend of sun and sky because sun is important for a tree's growth. Similarly, tree is a friend of sky also, as it takes carbon dioxide from the air and releases oxygen in the air. The poet says, he plants the flag of breezes free, the shaft of beauty towering high. As the tree swaying in the breeze, it makes us feel as calm and joyful as we would feel seeing a flag fluttering in breeze. The flag of breezes free. We all know that the tree stands very tall and it sways with the breeze. The shaft of beauty. Here the poet compares it, he says it to be an embodiment of beauty. Shaft is a beam, a long narrow pole. So, like a tree that stands tall, the poet says that it represents beauty. It looks to be very beautiful, towering high, as it stands tall like a tower. He plants a home to heaven and I, for song and mother croon of bird. Here the sentence, the line, the plants a home to heaven and I. It seems as if he plants a home to heaven and I. Here heaven is sky, and as the tree stands very tall, it seems as if it brings heaven close to the earth. And in other way also it seems to be heavenly, that we can understand from the next three lines. For song and mother croon of bird in hushed and happy twilight heard, the treble of heaven's harmony. What is it, twilight? Twilight is the time when the day and night meet, when the sun sets but the night has not yet come. It is dusky, it is a little dark only. For song and mother croon is a lullaby that a mother sings to make her child sleep. For song and mother croon of birds that live in the nests on a tree. So the poet says that at the time of twilight, when it is hushed, when it is silence all around, and happy twilight heard. Happy twilight. The poet says twilight to be happy. Why it is happy? Because it is evening and everyone goes back to their home to take rest after the day's work, after the tiring day, they go back home. That is why it is called to be happy. At that time, when the birds also come back to their nests, at that time their voice is heard, their mother croons, their lullabies, their voice that seems to be very soothing at that time, that seems as if it is singing to make its child sleep. The treble of heaven's harmony, and that sounds seems to be very musical. What is a treble? A treble refers to high pitched singing or instrumental melody. The voice of birds seemed to be very melodious at the time in the hushed silence, so it seems as if they make their child sleep by singing for them. These things he plants who plants a tree. Here it is the answer. The whole stanza the poet has told what do they plant, and the first question that was asked in the first line, here it is the answer. These things he plants who plants a tree. Now the next stanza, what does he plant who plants a tree? He plants cool shade and tender rain and seed and bird of days to be and years that fade and flush again. He plants the glory of the plain. He plants the forest's heritage, the harvest of a coming age, the joy that unborn eyes shall see. These things he plants who plants a tree. Again in this stanza, the poet repeats the same question, what does he plant who plants a tree? And proceeds to answer or explain the motive behind planting a tree. The trees planted by human beings provide shade and shelter. He plants cool shade that protects us from heat, and tender rain. The same way we all know that trees attract rain. The poet says that he provides us, the person plants not only cool shade but tender rain. Can we plant tender rain? No, we are planting tree that attracts rain. The poet says tender because rain nurtures our planet. That is why the poet calls it tender. And seed and bud of days to be. Days to be. Here days to be the poet says for future. The coming age. In future we will get fruits, birds, flowers and seeds from these trees. That is why the poet says that the person is planting seeds and birds of days to be. We are going to get seeds and birds in future from these trees, and years that fade and flush again, and gradually these trees and years in coming years, these trees will fade and they will flush again. We all know that nature is transitory. The same way trees also fade with the passage of time and they flush again. Either they flush in spring season, or after they die the new trees take birth from its seeds. He plants the glory of the plain. The poet says that he plants the glory of the plain. The land looks to be very beautiful with the plants. That would be when the plain is desolate, deserted, dull, the tree adds to its beauty. If the trees were not there, the land would be very dull, very barren, deserted. He plants the forest's heritage. The act of planting more and more trees today will create a forest tomorrow that will make our plants healthier and happier. Today we are growing trees. More and more trees if we grow, they will make forests in future. The harvest of a coming age. Today we are planting a tree, but the same time we will not start getting fruits from it, na? So the harvest of a coming age, in future, our future generations will cut the harvest. The joy that unborn eyes shall see, and it will be the joy that unborn eyes, the generation that is not yet born, our future generation shall see this joy. They will see the beauty and experience the joy of having trees all around them. These things he plants who plants a tree. Again, the poet replies the question that he had asked in the first line of the stanza. What does he plant who plants a tree? All these things that the poet has told recently, all these things he plants who plants a tree. The poet says these are the things that the person plants when he plants a tree. Now the third and last stanza. What does he plant who plants a tree? He plants in sap and leaf and wood, in love of home and loyalty, and forecast thought of civic good, his blessings on the neighborhood, who in the hollow of his hand holds all the growth of all our land, a nation's growth from sea to sea, stirs in his heart who plants a tree. Now the poet has become a little philosophical in this stanza when he says, he again raises the same question in the first line of the stanza. What does he plant who plants a tree? He plants in sap and leaf and wood, sap, leaf, wood. In all these parts of a tree, he plants. We all know that trees are very useful for us. Each and every part of a tree is useful for us. So the poet says he plants in sap and leaf and wood in love of home and loyalty. If the person loves his home, here home is not only our home, it is the whole planet, that is our home. So the poet who plants a tree, he does this with love of his home, of loyalty towards his planet. If we love our planet, if we are loyal to our planet, we will plant trees. And forecast thought of civic good. What is civic good? That is welfare of society. And forecast thought of civic good. He forecasts thought, that is, he foresees the future. He plans, he assumes how the future will be if he does this welfare of society. Definitely in future it is going to be proved as a welfare towards the society as he is planting trees. His blessings on the neighborhood, who in the hollow of his hand holds all the growth of our land. Here we can see his blessings, his hand holds. Here H, whenever it is repeated, H is capitalized. That shows that the person who plants a tree, he raises to the height, to the position of godliness. So he is like God who can bless the neighborhood, the other people who lives in our neighborhood, who belongs to us. The person, his blessings, he bestows his blessings on the neighborhood, who in the hollow of his hand, hollow, that is palm, holds all the growth of. He is not holding a tree, a plant in his hand, in his palm. He is holding all the growth of our land. The poet wants to say that the growth of our land, of our nation, of our planet lies in the plantation. A nation's growth from sea to sea stirs in his heart who plants a tree. The person who plants a tree, he helps in the growth of not only the nation but the planet. If we wish to flourish, to prosper, we need to live in harmony with nature. This we can do by planting more and more trees. Thank you.